This makes wireless HDMI super easy. Let's check it out. Dave Taylor here, and I want to talk about wireless HDMI or wireless video projection systems, right? So you have things like AirPlay and Chromecast, but my experience is they're not very reliable, and you need special software, and you need to go through all these configuration hoops, or there are third-party solutions, but I don't want third-party software on my computer. It's frustrating enough to have all the stuff that's on there now, right? So enter Benq with this. This is super cool. This is the Benq InstaShow wireless HDMI system. And I'm looking at, in particular, the WDC10C, which has the USB-C plugs on it. Now, you can see this is the transmitter end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just plug it into my MacBook Pro. In fact, let's move these boxes out of the way so that they're a little more space for me here. So you can see it's lit up red. So I need to actually start up my computer. Let's get that going. And then it automatically sees this device. So we're basically good to go. Now I have a monitor, and unfortunately the monitor doesn't have sound, which we'll sort of sidestep in a moment, but let's go ahead and turn it on because the unit also comes with a receiver. And this is actually the InstaShow wireless receiver with antennas, and it has HDMI on the back as well as Ethernet and a debug port and power. And then the unit actually has one thing on the side, and that's a mode button for switching modes. But here we are where we are connected, and can you see that these have turned green? That means that these are already paired. It's that easy. Now, when I'm ready to actually send my screen, let me get to a screen that is actually going to be working for us. Let's see, I'll do this. And then I just push the button. These turn blue, and boom, there's my computer screen. Now, this is in extra high res, right? So it's actually running full out 1080p. So that's actually really nice. Gives you nice, crisp, clear, very readable. If I had this on a huge screen, that would be fine. It would look really good. So it's instant sharing. Now, how fast is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. You didn't actually ask, but we'll pretend you asked. So let's go back. And now I'm going to go over to Sling TV, right? So let's see what's on Sling TV right now, because I can then stream some video. So we'll reload. And let's pick, well, I often pick children's shows for demos, but let's do something different. Let's see, what's going to make a good demo? Suggestions? All right, we'll try Oblivion. Not a horrible film. So we'll watch live, and let's see how this streams. Oh, it's an ad. Now the sound is coming out of my computer because this doesn't have any audio. It does have an audio out, so I could have hooked up a speaker, but I didn't. I have tried it and it does work perfectly fine. So the Benq does transmit audio too. I don't have the rights to broadcast any of this, but excuse me. Suffice to say that it is a full speed stream. There's no delays, no hassles. This is eminently watchable. This is like, you know, AirPlay. This is like Chromecast, but completely bulletproof and reliable. But there's actually much more that's important here. Let's, I can't pause, so then we'll just close that window. Okay, that was easy. So one of the things that this gets you that's really nice is it gets you security. And here's one of the issues is if you're working in an environment where you actually have maybe confidential presentations, you don't want to be on that wireless network. You don't want to actually have a system where people might be able to tap and monitor the signal. So it turns out that the Benq system uses AES 128-bit encryption and a WPA2 authentication system between the base and the transmission unit. And that gives you lots of security. There's no software at all to install. I literally just plug this in and I'm good to go. You might have to tweak with resolutions a little bit if you're running like a 4K monitor, because it doesn't support 4K. Its highest is 1080p, which, as you can see, is still, in my opinion, quite crisp, clear, and readable. But it also doesn't require any Wi-Fi. There's no Bluetooth. There's literally nothing that can be sniffed or analyzed or, monitored from outside of the room, because this has its own encryption system. That's pretty slick. It also works with HDMI 1.4, so it's not a 2.0 HDMI, but the main difference there is the sort of richness and depth of color, and I don't know that that's a particularly big deal. So, for what we're doing here, I think this is actually a terrific solution. It is very much a corporate solution. This is something you want in your office. This is not something you're going to want to get at home. As we get to the price, you'll understand why. But like I said, so it runs at a lot of resolutions, the maximum of which is 1920 by 1080, and that is a full HD signal. At Mac, Windows, Linux, completely compatible. You can configure your computer to have it mirror what's on the screen, or you can have it be an extended desktop. Again, whatever you need. And here's one of the great things. If you've ever been to like a co-working facility, or you've made a pitch to an investor or something like that, or just given a presentation at a trade show, there's no IT needed. There's no support needed. It's as easy as plug this thing in, push the button, and you're good to go. And when you're done sharing, you push the button, and now you have the privacy and confidentiality of whatever's on your computer screen, so you can set up for the next presentation, and then you push again, and boom, you're right back on the second screen. Super easy. Now, let me tell you, the main unit comes with the receiver, the transmitter, and a second transmitter. They call these buttons, right? So it comes with two of these, USB-C. So this means that while I'm ready to roll and I'm making the presentation, I might hand this off to my partner, who is then setting up their computer, and when we're ready, they push a button and boom, now it's their presentation. Super easy. Also comes with this handy desk storage box. When I first got it, I'm like, does this charge or something? It doesn't actually charge, because these are powered right off the USB connection. Super easy. You leave this on the desktop or on your conference table. You have this and your monitor maybe mounted to the ceiling. It'll work totally fine that way, right? And if you don't have USB-C, they sell an additional separate button kit, and this is just straight HDMI with a USB 3 connection. So same design, same basic functionality. In fact, they'll all interoperate, but this is a separate kit. And this comes with two of these and its own little stand. Not a charging stand, just a storage stand, but better than leaving them laying around on the conference table just to get knocked over or lost. So very cool solution. I'm very impressed with this. It's, it's spendy. This is the kind of thing you want in a nice office, but it works incredibly well. It's such a smooth stream that I just really feel like this is like being wired, except I can be 50 feet away. So really, really nice. Now, before we get to the price, and you definitely want to know the price, this is not the most inexpensive solution in the world, but before we get there, if I can ask for you to subscribe to my channel, really appreciate when people do that. Thank you. Now, the base unit that I have here, the Benq InstaShow wireless HDMI WDC10C, which is for USB-C with two buttons, the base unit, the stand, all of that, HDMI cable, all of that will cost you $1,099 at benqdirect.com. If you want to also get the HDMI/USB 3 alternative, so you have a little more flexibility, this WDC10 button kit is $399. So all told, this is almost $1,500 worth of hardware here. But you know what? If this is something you need, and if you've been having problems trying to get this to work, and if you've gone through that absolute nightmare of making a presentation just to waste the first 5 minutes trying to get everything to work, you're going to absolutely love this thing. And if you are the kind of company that has people come in and make presentations off of their own hardware, get something like this. It will make life so much easier, and you'll be able to focus on the presentation, not getting the darn things to synchronize and getting everything set up properly. So, highly impressed. I'm a big fan. I say if you're in the market for something like this, then it's definitely worth checking this out. This is the Benq InstaShow, and this is Dave Taylor, and I will catch you in my next video.